ITC, the Indian Tobacco Company. ITC has built an empire selling cigarettes. But the fun fact is, cigarettes are not even their biggest business anymore. ITC has quietly spent decades building and acquiring businesses in food, packaging, as well as luxury hotels. Just like in the recent year, ITC has backed a $500 million investment that again has nothing to do with cigarettes or smoking. And this is part of the playbook that's built them into the big, giant Indian conglomerate that they are today. And this is not just about ITC. In fact, billions of dollars are quietly exchanging hands in the PE and VC ecosystem of India. And this money is a clear signal as to where India is headed. Without much further ado, let's break down the largest 10 VC and PE deals of the last year. Howdy, good folks. Today, we have the first episode in this series. We've got the exclusive access to VCCircle's annual report. It's called India's Dealscape. And to understand this better, I have with me Saurabh. Saurabh's been an investment banker for a decade. He's also been a founder backed by Y Combinator. Hi, Saurabh. How's it going?
Hi, Abhinav. Doing good. And this is an amazing report, and we should absolutely look at it.
So India's top 10 private equity and VC deals. On number 10, we have Zepto. Zepto raised $350 million. This is their latest round. This round brought them to a valuation of $5 billion. And I think their total raise up till now has gotten to $1.35 billion. What's your take on Zepto, Saurabh?
Zepto, amazing. Now, if you look at Zepto, Zepto is a fundraising machine. This is not the only money which they raised during this year.
Of course.
But coming to the business, Zepto started with quick commerce, had a lot many players, Blinkit, and every other else is following Zepto's path of quick commerce. However, Zepto, if you look at Zepto, they have moved beyond just quick commerce. They are picking up high frequency habits and building verticals around it, be it quick snacks or cafe deliveries. These are some things which have changed the trajectory of how Zepto is moving ahead. And we have passed that age or era where 1 year back people were questioning, is 10 minutes delivery even an option? Why are we following it? This is just a fad. From there, we are today at a state where we agree that this is how habits have changed, and now this is the new norm.
Right. This is clearly a play. A lot of all the competitors are diving into this. Coming to number 9. Number 9 is Vastu Housing Finance. They've raised $400 million. What is Vastu Housing Finance? Why are they featuring in our top 10? Where's the opportunity, Saurabh?
This is again a very unique proposition. They have targeted a very different kind of niche. So they are not a typical housing finance company. They are providing money to self-employed people in those areas which are urban or rural or a kind of mix of them. And going pretty well. They are looking at an IPO, targeting an IPO, and their focus right now has been to create new kind of products like micro housing, and moving deeply, penetrating into larger rural areas, you can say.
So I want to go back to July. I think Modi returned to power in July, and certain sectors that the market gurus were bullish on had something to do with housing finance, and housing finance for the exact same sector that you were talking about. So we saw some of those stocks rise, and today we have a private company that's looking to go IPO. You think this Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana has something to do with this?
Yes, absolutely. Government support is significant in this sector. We are seeing, looking at this sector, with having a steady state growth, favorable demographic profile, people having high aspirations, but not having access to that kind of capital. So there is an immense opportunity. And if you see all the big players from IFC, Novus Venture Partner, 361 Asset Management, everyone is betting heavy on this.
Perfect. So this is the classic IP deal. 1,015 crores revenue, 330 crores profit.
In FY24, they did around 1,000 crores of revenue with 300 crores of profit. And presently, they are operating in 14 states.
Awesome. Okay, now let's get down to the deal number 8. National Highways Infra Trust, 439 mil. Again, another one of sectors that was really hot when Modi came back into power. These sort of sectors were called Modi sectors, and the stocks within were called Modi stocks. And then there was obviously Gandhi stocks, which didn't take off that well. But yeah, anything to do with, again, Mr. Gadkari here?
Yes, absolutely. NHAI has been fundamental to how infrastructure has grown over last few years, and it specifically NHAI has been one of the highlights in that particular sector.
So how is NHIT and NHI related?
NHIT was established as an investment trust by NHAI in 2020. So here 15% is owned by the NHAI and remaining 85% is owned by investors.
So again, PE deal, is it?
Yes, PE deal, and you have big money coming from Canada Pension Fund, Investment Board, and then Ontario's Teachers Pension Fund, each of them putting in about $220 million.
Right.
You can look at it that this is more like a long-term play, fixed returns.
Right.
And NHAI is on the way where this will be acting more like asset building class. So as of now, they have around 15,000 kilometers under their asset. And in last year, the FY24, they did around 1,000 CR of revenue with 300 crores of PAT, which is good. And over a period of time, more and more assets will be added into this portfolio.
Perfect. So government influence is also showing in the private sector. Now we have ITC Limited. At number 7, we have ITC Limited. That's pulled in $447 million.
Yes, and very serious names, GIC, Kuwait Investment Authority.
Right. What are these guys up to?
So if you look at ITC, it has well moved beyond tobacco. They are in FMCG, long back, hotels, agribusiness, packaging. So everything, and almost like a very strong space where they are.
Tell me one thing. I have seen ITC. ITC a couple of years back acquired Yoga Bar in a staggered acquisition for about I think 100 mil, not little less than $100 million. 500 crores was the deal value. And a couple of days ago, another news came in that ITC is acquiring Prasuma, a frozen momos company, a meat company. I think the deal value again is around $50 million. So you see a relation here, sort of acquisitions they're making, and this?
Yes, certainly. If you look at food space, this is what you see across that lot many larger organizations, so-called behemoths, too big, are
eating the small fish.
Trying, and right. It makes sense for them. This is you can say this is a space where people, as in a larger organization, doesn't get the nerve of the customer. There is a new segment which is being created by these startups. Acquisition becomes a good way to get into that space. And it's a win-win for both, because
of course,
the kind of distribution, the kind of knowledge which ITC has.
Nobody has a distribution like ITC in India. Like their cigarettes reach everywhere.
Right. And that kind of distribution and that knowledge is something which probably at a startup level will take 10 years to grow. What ITC, with support of ITC, can happen in probably 2 to 3 years.
Cool. So number 6, we have Equinox India Developments. That's a new name that I'm seeing, but earlier, it used to be called India Bulls Real Estate. $467 million. Most of the deals, I mean, I was hoping the sort of curve would really increase, but we're stuck at 350, 400. Okay, $467 million. India Bulls Real Estate. What's up with them?
So they are a veteran in this space. It's just that maybe change of name, but otherwise they have always been focused on residential and commercial space. Right. If you look at recent trend, obviously both these spaces have become hot. Commercial spaces listing, DLF similarly expanding across the country.
I mean, this is the real money. This is the money that also probably, it moves very silently. There are no There's no noise created when money moves in this industry. I mean, sure, there's a lot of hoo-ha around all the new sexy sectors like quick commerce and all that. Awesome. Coming to number five, we have Sterlite Grid 32 Limited, finally with of $500 million, $500 million. This is in the power sector, power infra specifically. Again, GIC has put in money in ITC as well as Sterlite Grid. What do you have to say about this one?
So if you look, probably this year, the season flavor has been infrastructure and
Clearly.
similar.
So some sort of a government play here as well. I mean, obviously there's a government push.
Right, and government support is kind of showing here in terms of possibly the investments which are coming in. So Sterlite Power acquired 51% stake. Again, it's a business where, because of the growth which India is witnessing, there is a significant scope of further growth. Uh, it's again long-term capital intensive business where you create an infrastructure, and with PPP becoming private public partnership becoming more and more prominent, new and new areas where we have started figuring it out, new models which are being created. So long-term return for investors.
Nice. Number four is energy again, power sector, but renewable energy this time. $550 million is what Leap Green Energy has raised from Brookfield. What do you have to say about this?
So yeah, again, clean energy is obviously government's focus, and across the world, I would say, India has traditionally, not traditionally, but under this government, there has been a lot of focus. So Green Energy has been doing pretty good, 3+ gigawatts of capacity, which they have been able to build, and they are targeting. So very similar deal was Avada's Ventures 1.7 around 1.1 billion raise, which they did. So with this, they should be in a similar position. They should be able to capitalize on it and be a strong competitor to it.
Right. This can be related to the ESG push, or is this something that's more on the infra side?
I'll say more than ESG push, it is actually the government's focus of transition towards clean energy.
Okay, awesome. Now we have a similar deal, size-wise, $554 million roped in by Shriram Housing Finance, and these guys are now called True Home Finance. So Shriram Housing, I mean, Shriram is a big developer as well. What are these guys up to?
Right, and funded by Warburg Pincus.
So PE deal, private equity.
And they are primarily focusing into tier 3 and tier 4 cities. That has been the target area for them.
That's the flavor again.
Yes. And they are looking at around 50,000 crores of asset in under management within next 4 years. Again, similar mortgage penetration, housing finance is what they are looking at, because this is still highly under penetrated sector in India as of now.
Nice. Number two, we have Zepto again. This is Zepto's earlier raise in the year when they raised $665 million. I think from a quick commerce perspective, of course, Swiggy, etc., have raised larger rounds. But from a pure quick commerce perspective, this has to be the highest player. I mean, obviously the biggest player and the highest ever deal. So where is this money going? What do you have to say about that?
First one was for the earlier deal which we talked about, and this is the second raise. So approximately, and this happened over a period of around 40-45 days, where the second raise happened, and the valuation would have tentatively increased by 1.5x. So Zepto is on a roll in terms of fundraising, in terms of the business, how they are expanding across cities, across geographies, the kind of products which they are launching today. Quick commerce has moved to that state where they are becoming a very serious threat to traditional e-commerce players. Today, whatever you want to, I don't think anybody first goes and looks at Amazon, but probably the first choice for people is Zepto and Blinkit or Instamart, to say, for looking for those products.
For the top 1 or 2% of India, yes. I think, the bottom of the pyramid, or not the most bottom, but somewhere the mid pyramid still goes to the stores nearby. Obviously, we just tend to have a very skewed understanding of India.
But
Don't you think?
I'll say that is just a matter of time. It's till the time Zepto does not penetrate to those cities or Blinkit does not penetrate to the cities. You see the transition, what is happening. Habits have changed. People in metro have changed. The basic expectation is that if I want anything, I can get it in 10 minutes.
That's true, but again, I think not everyone can spend $500 on an average delivery, which is what these guys need
See, the
to sort of
models
be
will have a
viable.
tweak. The model will certainly have a tweak how it handles, but the understanding that they are a serious threat to e-commerce player does not change.
Cool. I mean, I think that remains to be seen. But you're right. $3.6 billion was the valuation at this round, and the later round took place at $5 billion. So this uptick happened within a matter of days, as per Saurabh. Awesome. Now, the biggest deal in the PE and VC ecosystem in 2024 in India is Healthium MedTech, $809 million. What do these guys do, and tell me a little bit about this deal?
So this was an acquisition by KKR, and this is the biggest in so many years. And primarily what they specialize in surgical and chronic care products. Right, and if you look at this space expanding, India has become kind of a Makkah for medical tourism. People from across Middle East, Europe, Southeast Asia have started visiting India for all these kind of treatments. Right, so this is giving exponential growth to the space, and you see so many things happening around.
Very nice. So tell me a little bit about KKR. I'm seeing KKR, for the first time in this list. Of course, KKR has been very active. Tell me a little bit about KKR and their activity in India. This is a pure acquisition play, so it's not a fundraise.
Primarily, they are known for taking up, optimizing the business, scaling it up, and so that is what they intend to do here also. Right? Getting into the business, optimizing it in a much better way. Maybe they'll exit at some point of time.
Okay, perfect. That's a quick wrap, or rather roundup, of the top 10 VC and PE deals of 2024. This is clearly, where India is headed next, at least for the next 4 or 5 years. You can see a clear, roadmap of which sectors are getting favored and, seeing money flow. So do let us know what deals sort of stood out to you, and which of these reports should we be covering next. If you want to stay updated about these things, stay tuned. Thanks, Saurabh.
Thank you, Abhinav. Thank you.
Okay, lovely.